state government inaugurates committee to mitigate the effect of impending flood. Activate emergency management protocol. April prayer meeting. Wife of God like virtues. Our government reiterates commitment to food sufficiency. The public primary schools. Another Chibok girl, Lydia Simon, regains freedom after 10 years. Details of these and other stories in a moment. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I am Akaniyene Ukbo. Playing his dual role as a Akwa State Governor and a Reconciliation Governor, Pastor Moino has hosted paramount rulers drawn from 29 out of the 31 local government areas of the state to find lasting solutions to the lingering issue arising from the amended Akwa State Traditional Rulers Law. The paramount rulers of Ibono and in the local government areas were absent on health grounds. In an atmosphere of peace and unity, the governor at the event held at the State Executive Council chambers thanked the paramount rulers and assured them of his government's readiness to work with them to find a lasting solution to the matter. He said he has gone to Ibibio and Oro lands to sue for peace on this issue and thanked Barrister Ekpenyong Tekum for accepting to cooperate with government to resolve the matter out of court. There was a spirit of unanimity in the chamber on the constitution of the committee by the governor, as expressed by Professor Amana Mudo, paramount ruler of Etemekbo, and Owong Okonabang, paramount ruler of Mbo, as well as Edidem Clement Francis Ekpenyong of Ibesikbo Sultan, who all spoke in total support of the setting up of the committee on behalf of their colleagues. In his speech, the chairman of the State Traditional Rulers Council, Odidem Basi Etemede, thanked the governor for the excellent manner he has handled the matter and supported the idea of a committee to look into the issue as proposed by the governor. Meanwhile, Akwa State Governor Pastor Moino has accepted the submissions of the royal fathers that the position of the President General of Akwa State Supreme Council of Traditional Rulers be on principle of rotation. Based on the agreement at the meeting in Government House Uyo, where the governor said would not want to meddle into the issue involving revered traditional fathers, a 7-man committee has been constituted to make recommendations concerning the mode or structure of the rotation and submit the report to government in 2 weeks. A release by the Chief Press Secretary to the governor, Mr. Keretudo, says the State Governor Pastor Mono will send the recommendations to the State House of Assembly for further considerations. Those listed in the committee include Paramount Ruler of Ekat Edidemetem Charles Daniel Abia as chairman, Paramount Ruler of Itu Edidemetem Akpaninyang, Paramount Ruler of Etemeku Edidem Amana Makpan Udauku, Paramount Ruler of Ikole Kwenakuku Okun Udaukud, and Paramount Ruler of Mbo Owong Okun Osukwabang as members. Others are Paramount Ruler of Okobo Edidemitide Okokun, Paramount Ruler of Ibionibum Okuku Imo Udosorenyang, while the Secretary of Akwa Traditional Rulers Council, Dr. Emmanuel Montwin, is to function as the committee secretary. Speaking, the Ekwibo Bibian President General of Akwa State Supreme Council of Traditional Rulers, intending Solomon to also sue for peace, emphasizing that as a state they are all bound by the same court of unity. Barrister Ekpenyong Tekum counseled to some royal fathers who had initially instituted court action on the issue, described Governor Mono as a man of peace. He thanked the governor for his ingenuity in setting up the committee and expressed his support, stating that it represents the best way to resolve the lingering issues. This position was also echoed by the State Attorney General, Ms. Ukudum SAN. Present at the meeting with the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Elder Udema Tong, the Secretary to the State Government, Prince Enobangua, Director General of Government Business, Chief Assam SAN, Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Mr. Frank Ochibong, and the Political Advisor to the Governor, Prince Godwin Ntode. cross-section of Akwa Ibom women led by the wife of the state governor, Pastor Patience, and were part of the April edition of the monthly women's prayer meeting. The service, which held at the banquet hall of the government house, Uyo, had the theme, I Will Restore, featured a special Thanksgiving session by the Deputy Governor, Senator Okono Yaganyi, and other women born in the month of April. Margaret Bassey was there and completes the story.
Pastor Patience Eno, who stated that restoration is the act of bringing a thing back to its original state, urged the congregation to eschew acts that are capable of robbing them of their chances of restoration, but to prepare their faith in line with the ordinances of the scriptures.
I know that the word of the Lord today has touched you. The preacher did justice to the topic, to the theme, which is I will restore. Who is speaking? And who is God saying he will restore? You and I. Every part of your life that needs restoration, today, by the word of the Lord, you will be restored. I will be restored. In the name of Jesus. This month, don't do anything that will rob you of this restoration.
The governor's wife commended the leadership of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, in the state for striving to ensure that the menace of drug and substance abuse are reduced to the barest minimum, adding that the price paid aims at restoring the dignity of the future champions.
I want to thank the NDLEA commandant for Akwa Ibom State for all that she's doing in curbing the menace of these drug people. Thank you. Continue your good work. The Lord will reward you in Jesus' name.
In an exhortation on the topic, I will restore, Evangelist Becky Udom reiterated that for one to be restored, sacrifices must be made, assuring the congregation that when the wind of restoration beckons, it interrupts the affairs of humanity and dismantles obstacles. Evangelist Udom mentioned forces that hinder restoration to include sin, unbelief, discontentment, unhealthy competition, hatred, and bitterness.
Restoration can also be seen as a step of making things better than their current state. And God is set to the pain. Even when it is praise the Lord.
The service featured praise and worship, testimonies, intercessory prayers, and the cutting of birthday cake by April Burns. Similarly, the state deputy governor, Senator Okono Yaganyi, who was also celebrated at the service, extended her warm regards to the women for marking her birthday in the month of April due to her official engagement on February being her actual month of birth.
We are standing here today in honor of God, to return all glory to Him for keeping me to see 64 years.
Margaret Bassey, EKBC News.
In response to the 2024 annual flood outlook released by the Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, the 31 states, including Akwa Ibom, are under threat. Governor Moino has swung into action to mitigate the impact of the impending occurrence. As part of measures, a monitoring committee has been constituted to interface with relevant federal government agencies as well as mitigate the effect of the impending flood. The committee has the Commissioners for Environment and Mineral Resources, that of Water Resources and Sanitation, Health, and that of Internal Security and Waterways as members. Others include the Agriculture Boss, that of Information and Strategy, Lands and Urban Development, as well as the Chairman of Akwa Ibom State Environmental Protection and Waste Management Agency. The Governor also directed the immediate activation of the Emergency Management Protocol of the state by the State Emergency Management Agency to be headed by the Deputy Governor, Senator Okun Eyaranyi. Similarly, the State Environment and Mineral Resources as well as Waste Management Agency are to comment immediate and aggressive desilting of gutters and flood control channels across Akwa Ibom. According to the Commissioner for Information, Comrade Inie Memebong, these committees are to brief the Governor within 48 hours, as all have been assured of the preparedness of government to take necessary actions in order to ensure that the effect of the impending flood is minimized. The member representing Ibionibom State constituency in the State House of Assembly, Mr. Moses Essien, has advised students of the local government extraction in tertiary institutions across the country, alongside their conventional education, to acquire for themselves contemporary marketable skills. The lawmaker was speaking at the Assembly Complex with the National Association of Ibionibom Students Worldwide paid him a visit. Uyo Koswa reports.
Mr. Moses Essien, who chairs the House Committee on Health, traced his leadership beginnings to student associations and emphasized that leadership as a student was not an excuse for poor performance in school. He warned against vices like cultism, truancy, drug abuse, and the crave for fast money, noting that actions and inactions at any leadership position have far-reaching consequences, as all positions are temporary.
And then to also be encouraged that one day you can be like me. You can even go to higher political offices. So what is the problem is that you are now in a level ground to prepare yourself for the tasks ahead. I will be very glad to see that all the students of the Ibionibom, especially those in leadership position today,
Reiterating his commitments to the welfare of students of the local government area in tertiary institutions, the Ibionibom State Legislature said he would make available a grant of 1.1 million naira to be shared among 10 students from each of the 11 wards of the local government area.
In addition, coming to the House of Assembly, having passed through this strata you are today, I think it's important I commit myself to the promotion of student welfare. And in my first one year in office, I intend to do a grant, where you call it a bursary or you do a grant, and this for 10% in each ward. How am I going to do it? I will leave it in the hands of NICE Worldwide. I think among having knowledge in computer, skill acquisition is very, very important so that they can make self-reliance.
Earlier, the leader of the delegation and President, National Association of Ibionibom Students Worldwide, Comrade Good News Ekpenyong, said the group called at the assembly to commend their lawmaker for effective representation and to solicit his support for the plans of the association aimed at enhancing the welfare of Ibionibom students.
To extend a very special thanks to you, sir. For your one person we know that is always ready to welcome the students wherever we want to meet with you, sir.
Uyoko Uswa, AKBC News.
And still to come on the news, State Agric Boss distributes farm inputs to public primary schools. Another Chibok girl regains freedom after 10 years. These and more when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back. Government primary schools in the state have benefited from the distribution of farm inputs from the state government. At St. Patrick's Primary School, Iboko Uyo, venue for the distribution, over 60 government primary schools were presented with cassava cuttings, maize, pumpkin seeds, and coconut seedlings. Eyaganopol has the details.
Presenting the farm inputs to head teachers of government primary schools, the Commissioner for Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Fiongofo, said the gesture is to ensure that schools generate revenue internally through agriculture. Dr. Fohu re-emphasized the commitment of Governor Umoino towards ensuring food sufficiency, advised that the inputs be judiciously used, adding that the pupils should be taught the importance of farming. The state agriculture boss, who announced that schools with the best farms will be rewarded handsomely, noted that a monitoring team will be going around to assess the farms.
Then when we incorporate in these children the love for natural sciences and agriculture, we see that we will raise giants that will feed our nation tomorrow. I often tell people that agriculture is not something for our grandparents in the village. Whatever puts food legitimately on the table is something to be proud of. Because when you are hungry, hunger has no respect for certificates. It has no respect for status. Whoever you are, when you are hungry, your face will change.
The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Lady Rose Bassi, who represented the Commissioner, thanked Governor Umoino for placing premium on practical agricultural development in the state, promising that her ministry will ensure the multiplication of the inputs.
I want to start by thanking His Excellency, Pastor Umoino, the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, for being proactive, for being a responsive governor. He knows how things are now in the country, that what is really biting the common man is lack of food.
Government knows that we are facing problem, and that's why the government is saying, giving out this to schools to plant. Why? So that this issue of no food will be over.
The representative of Chairman of Subet, Mando Ekpeyon, and head teacher of St. Patrick Primary School, Iboko Fort, Mrs. Ekaite Bassi, saluted the Minister of Agriculture for interpreting the vision of government in agricultural sector, promising to make good use of the inputs.
I welcome you all for the flagging up of this agricultural input in Akwa Ibom State to spur up agricultural development.
We are very, 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 very grateful to your invitation, because we know what we have from you are improved varieties of the cassava cuttings. And the children now in the school, like this school, a child in this school can also come and address us on how to produce mushroom. We have them, yes.
Items presented to the schools include cassava cuttings, pumpkin seed, maize, and coconut seedlings. Eyaganopol, KBC News.
Beneficiaries of the Nigeria for Women project have been counting their gains as the project has turned lives around for good. Speaking with newsmen during the media field trip, beneficiaries from Abak, Orokanam, Ibesipo Sultan, Ona, Nsirubium and selected local government areas enumerated positive effects of the project on their businesses, including turning them to employers of labor. Esther Omoren tells us more.
Mrs. Zuba Wurodo from Ikorok Maneda in Orogonam said, through the project, she has set up a vegetable plantation, established piggery and other farms, in addition to drilling a borehole to aid her operations. Other beneficiaries, Mrs. Anyani Mobot and Mrs. Ederudasen from Ikorok Babin and Ikorikan in Ibesipo stand said they engaged in palm oil processing and palm kernel cracking.
I have so many benefits. I know how to involve myself from different business. I thank the World Bank Nigerian for Women project for this project they have brought for us. Every woman in this community benefits for the project. I say Nigerian for Women project, World Bank, thank you.
The project have made women to know what to do, because many women are lazy, but because of this project, many women have put effort and making businesses.
It has great impact, because before a lot of women were suffering. They did not know where to have money and help themselves. But now, good number of women are not lamenting. They are enjoying the project.
So when they started seeing the project, I see what is coming in there. So a lot of them come and type me, please man, I want to join the group.
We come over because
conducting officials of the Nigeria for Women project and the head of operations and communication specialist Ares Concept, Mrs. Adeshola Oyawoye, noted that the project, which was set up by the federal government in collaboration with the World Bank, has improved living standards of beneficiaries. Head of Operations Nigeria for Women project, Mr. Nicholas Womo, said Akwa Ibom is one of the benefiting states with projects sited across the state, including Orogonam, Abak, Ibesipo Asutan, Ona, Nsirubium, and Esreke local government areas. He opined that the Akwa Ibom state government is working towards empowering more women in other local government areas of the state for improved living conditions.
When the project comes, it comes in phases, and I'm going to tell us that phase 1 is ending in June. We are thankful to His Excellency the Governor for approving scale up. As this commitment is done by the state government for us to scale up, we eventually go to all the communities. So I want to appeal to them that they should be patient.
The head of operations and communication specialist, the Ares Concept Nigeria Limited, Mrs. Oyawoye Adeshola, related success stories of some of the women whose lives have been transformed by the project.
Seeing what Nigerian for Women project have done, have empowered these women, not only them, but also you can see it translating to the community and the people around them. The women have been able to gain knowledge and also been able to access loan, which has improved their businesses. And the most inspiring of all them are seeing their husband also standing beside them and helping them improve in the business.
Esther Umorin, AEKBC News.
Another abducted Chibok girl identified as Lydia Simon has been rescued by the Nigerian Army. Lydia, whose name is serial number 68 among the abducted Chibok girls, was said to have escaped from the camp of Alingwide in Mandara Mountains, where she was held captive for 10 years. It was gathered that pregnant Lydia, alongside her children, 3 children, who had been with the Boko Haram member, were also rescued to meet their loved ones again, while many other Chibok girls are still in the terrorist den, including Leah Sharebu, who preferred not to deny her faith for freedom. The report has it that Lydia's rescue was made possible by troops of Operation Desert Sanity 3, Northeast Harding K, and troops of 82 Division Task Force Battalion in Ngoza. And now to end the news, another look at the top stories. A cross-section of Akwa Ibom women, led by the wife of the state governor, Pastor Patience Eno, were part of the April edition of the monthly women's prayer meeting. The service, which held at the banquet hall of the Government House Uyo, had the theme, I Will Restore, featured a special Thanksgiving session by the Deputy Governor Senator Okono Yarayi and other women born in the month of April. We also told you that in response to the 2024 annual flood outlook released by the Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, that 31 states including Akwa Ibom are under threat. Governor Omoyano has swung into action to mitigate the impact of the impending occurrence. And as part of measures of monitoring committee has been constituted to interface with relevant federal government agencies to mitigate the effect of the impending flood. That's a package. Thanks so much for watching and good night.